Hey there, my name is Chris Mango, and I'm the creator of Mango Mischief, a satirical, retro-style JRPG that's available for PC on Steam. If you're watching this video, you're about to see me playing my own game, showing off shortcuts and going into detail about the development process and intentions with essentially every aspect of Mango Mischief. So I think it's fair to say spoiler alert. If you'd like to play my game before watching this, the Steam link is in the description. I hope you enjoy my playthrough and commentary. Alright, episode 13, let's get going. A few orders of business before I jump into Whelmhelm Realm. I'm actually going to buy a few more scepters. I think I miscalculated. I think I'm going to actually get one of each scepter. Geo, Aero, Cryo, Bronto, Luma, Umbra, and then as far as the Pyro and Hydro go, I'm pretty sure Mero and Arak are already equipping those. So I'm actually going to sail back really, really fast to, I guess we could do East Haversine. I'm going to go back to East Haversine and just pick up a couple more scepters, just so I can really abuse some weaknesses and some resistances in my gear. We certainly have the money for it. So I'm going to scroll all the way back down, and we're going to get one more of each. Because what I'm going to actually do now is equip everyone with anti-earth gear. So the Geoscepters, because any earth damage received is reduced by 25%. That'll also be useful for, I think, Marion, I can do something there. Mythic Ballista, reducing earth damage by 25%. As far as Sprig doesn't have an earth weapon, but his wind weapon will be super effective against earth, so I'm going to leave Mythic Glaive. And as far as elemental necklaces go, let's go hard on the anti-earth setup. This should be pretty good. I think since I'm already in Haversine, and I have 110,000 gold to burn, other things I can do include picking up... Actually, I don't think it's the shop I want to go to. Let's go in here. Now, I could buy 2 ultimate weapons for 50,000 each, but quite frankly, I can't use any ultimate weapons until all of my Omega classes are finished, and I got a ways to go for that. In fact, generally when I play, I don't really get to ultimate level until Chaos Castle, or even after beating Chaos Castle, so there's no point in me wasting that much money right now. What I do care about is some regen amulets. Let's say we do, let's do 2 HP regens. I'm sorry, I said amulets, I mean ribbons. We want to go make sure we have enough ribbons for everyone. And let's equip Marion with a ribbon and Arak with a ribbon. Just to make them a little bit more resilient to everything. This is not something you have to do early in the game or anything like that. Being able to use ribbons are just additional bonuses. You can eventually use a total of 3 ribbons for each character. Once we hit ultimate level class, after all the Omegas are done, then we'll notice that there's an extra ribbon slot as well. But now let's talk about the reason why I'm going hardcore with the anti-earth setup. Let me make sure I've got everything here. I've got wind and anti-earth, 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 anti-earth. The reason is because, and let me save over here, episode 13. I'm going to burn through these boulders pretty fast. I think after this battle, if I remember, I'm going to increase the battle speed. Here we have another set of golems and gravelettes, different color. And I'm going to keep using as much wind as possible. Things like Techna Slot from my Sprig. And Arak doesn't have any wind, that's okay. We can see kind of how fast we start to whittle down these enemies. Finish off at least these 2 little ones with Aromancy All. Nice. Let's do Trick Swing. Let's hit the same golem 3 times, more than enough. Level 3, getting some level ups. Let's go faster. Battle animation speed, speed run. Because we do have to get through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 boulders just to get to the back. I want to show you really what's happening back here. There's a ton of really good, well, not a ton of chests. There are 3 treasure chests with a ton of good stat boosting items. Now, if I'm speedrunning this game, I'm probably not going to bother doing this because this does take some time, but the rewards really are good. Well, another battle done. There's a lot of optional paths that you can take in this area, Whelmhelm Realm. Obviously, we're seeing one of these options right now, going around all the way around the back to get some additional stat boosting items. But even when we're talking about the regular backyard of this dungeon, there are 4 different paths you can take in terms of difficulty or how long it'll take. We're just going to take the easiest path to get to the regular backyard, the conventional backyard, because that'll save the most time. But each of the 4 paths, which are dictated by, you'll see a Grate 1, Grate 2, and there's Grates 3 and 4 on the right. You can go through any of those paths, from the front yard to the backyard, and you will be rewarded with not just experience from enemy battles, but increasingly more useful and more epic treasure. Very high-level stat-boosting items if you go into the path level 3 or path level 4, the ones that are a little bit more difficult and more time-consuming. So as you can see here, I'm just primarily spamming whatever can really kill them off the fastest. I'm still gaining levels pretty reasonably, so I don't have to worry about running out of HP or even MP for that matter. Marion can use Nutrislot, not a big deal. Never, I want to make sure she's using some sort of Aeromancy, either Aeromancy All or Aeromancy just 1. Arak can pretty much use whatever. Obviously, the biggest damage dealers in these little fights are going to be Mero and Sprig. And as you can see here, usually the big golem is the one who's left. There we go, another battle in the books. Almost level 5. Again, once we hit level 5, just out of personal preference, I'm going to switch to a new Omega class. You can level them up all the way to 10 if you want to, but I like to rotate through 1 through 5, 1 through 5, 1 through 5 with each of my Omega classes. Exactly what I did with the Alpha classes as well. That way I can actually enjoy more level ups more frequently. That way we can uncover more stat boosting items faster, as well as kind of pace all the different level ups throughout different dungeons. Because if I'm going through a pretty long dungeon, it would be nice to get an automatic HP and MP replenish, every 3 or 4 battles. And we can get that by timing our level ups. But however you want to time your level ups is completely up to you. Almost done with this. I was debating whether or not to do this entire sequence, but given how useful this side area is, I figure it's worth actually showing. So now we're actually behind the backyard. The backyard is wedged in by trees here, where the dogs and cats are. But back here, we've got actually 3 treasure chests, and you can take a look at what the items are. We get 2 of every single stat boosting item, and that opens up a path down here where we get more stat boosting items. And now there's this other treasure chest, which you can simply walk through here, hidden path, where you get even more stat boosting items, 4 of everything. So we essentially just got 8 of every single stat boosting item. It's a decent set of rewards, considering the 7 or so battles we did on the left side didn't really reward us with too much loot besides some experience. If you try going through any of the 4 single doors, it'll say that it's electronically sealed by the owner, and a little slap of reality saying apparently not everyone is okay with random strangers inviting their privacy. I'm going to read this sign. Through the main double doors, through the main double doors is the mastermind behind a mean menagerie, the creator of a gallery of tragedy, stemming from debauchery and chicanery. The backyard hosts the zoo of beasts. All they want is to be released. Defeating the guard of each stable will free the animals, if you are able. The guards are quick and stoic and persistent, not to mention magically resistant. Elemental weapons and physical hits are your best bet in this freedom blitz. There are 4 paths that exist in this realm that all lead to the backyard, so take the helm. And choose your level of treasure and bellum. 1 window to 4 window, underwhelm to overwhelm. So the single window path is the easiest, the 4 window path is the hardest, similar to the space-time race climb, although the difficulty level of the enemy battles doesn't increase. It's just how many battles you have to get through. I'll show you that in a moment once we can actually get in, but we can't just yet. So we're going to go through the main double doors. On the signpost, it also alluded to the fact that you're going to need to focus on physical attacks, not magic attacks. And I'll show you some examples. This book is very helpful. This book is open to a chapter on physical attacks from wind-imbued polearms and light-imbued daggers. Before I forget, I'm going to change to a wind-imbued polearm, which I have. And as far as light-imbued daggers go, that would be this one here. The usefulness of these 2 weapons shouldn't be understated. These are what are going to be super effective against the bosses. I might end up switching weapons along the way, actually, because the 8 different guards in the backyard are very weak to specific elements, which I can abuse with physical weapons. But make sure you take into consideration what this book is telling you when it's time for the boss battle. Here are 2 individuals. They will end up being the bosses. Welcome, everyone. What can I do for you? You mean you don't mind us being here and invading your privacy, and exploring your home, and rummaging through all your stuff? Nah, it's all good. Sometimes unfortunate things happen to us, but if you can stay calm and be in control, then you deserve a tip of the hat for being a great influence and role model. This is a little reference to one of my favorite StarCraft personalities, In Control, who, among many other things, talked about, oftentimes said a tip of the hat. He passed away. Rest in peace, Jeff. My favorite StarCraft personality for both StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2. Did you break into my home just to ask me if it was okay that you broke in? The front doors were unlocked. I think that's besides the point, but we're here because we're searching for medallions for our king. Oh, like half of the strength medallion? Exactly! So you have half of the strength medallion? Dima does. They earned it a while ago in a competition. You'll notice here, these 2 individuals, these 2 lovely individuals are married. This is Dama, going by pronouns they, them, their. And Phoba, over here, who I'm talking to right now, goes by she, her. Dama? Yep, Dama is my spouse. Knowing them, they're probably looking out the windows into the backyard. And so we're going to do a little bit of back and forth between Dama and Phoba. I totally don't mind you being here and invading our privacy, but please leave me alone. Excuse me, Dama? Yes? We just spoke with the person in the study, and we were told you have half of the strength medallion? You spoke to my wife, Phoba? Well, we didn't know that your wife's name was Phoba, but yes. Please ask her what she'd like for lunch. What? Please ask her what she'd like for lunch. We were kinda hoping to... Please ask her what she'd like for lunch. So stubborn, so rude. So this is going to be a little bit of a parody of the traditional fetch quests and how annoying they can be. Fortunately, the fetching is just back and forth here for a little while as opposed to, running all over the world like, collecting medallion pieces or mangoes. Hey, did you talk to Dama? Yes, and they want to know what you would like to eat for lunch. Oh, I guess a ham and cheese sandwich. Great, so surely we're all done with this fetch quest now, right? Ham and cheese. Now can we please talk mayonnaise? What did you just call me? Mustard? Why are you talking about condiments? Well, I know that Phoba doesn't just want a plain ham and cheese sandwich. We're not here to talk about lunch. Actually, it's been a while since any of us have eaten anything. Dama, what exactly would you like us to ask Phoba? Sprig, are you seriously okay with taking part in this ridiculous and completely arbitrary distraction? It's not arbitrary, it's lunchtime. What do you say we actually eat some food at any of the houses we visit? Marion, if it gets Dama to open up about the strength medallion, then yes, this is worth it. Besides, at least this fetch quest doesn't require us to sail everywhere and actually find the ingredients from the different corners of the world. But isn't that what we've actually been doing for the king with our list of key items for him? They even have a cake. Please ask Phoba what she would like on her ham and cheese sandwich. We will be right back with that information. And there's the cake down here. Phoba, what do you want on your sandwich? Ham and cheese, please. Mayonnaise or mustard? Both. What kind of cheese? Dama didn't ask. We're getting ahead of what we all know is going to happen next. Swiss, please. What kind of bread? Rye bread. Lettuce, tomato, onions, pickles? Yes to all of them, thanks. Do you want a piece of cake too? No thanks, that's everything for me. Okay, let's go back to Dama and tell them. Ham, Swiss cheese, mustard, mayonnaise. Now please ask her what kind of bread she... Rye bread, lettuce, onions, tomatoes, and pickles. Sprig just got pretty intense for a second. And a huge piece of cake. No cake. Okay. Nice job. Now that we're done with this, can we please talk about what does Phoba want to drink? Lemonade. But Sprig, we didn't. Phoba would like some lemonade. I just finished the lemonade last night. Her second choice is water. Okay, I think that's everything, thanks. Now if we talk to them again, it says, Dama, can we please talk about your strength medallion piece now? Sure, what do you want to know? I challenge you to a battle, and the winner gets to keep your half of the strength medallion. Which doesn't sound like a very fair battle, to be honest, because what is Sprig putting up? No thanks. What do you mean? This piece of strength medallion is mine. I earned it, and I want to keep it. But that's not fair. How is it not fair? I'm not interested in fighting you. Without your half of the strength medallion, we'll never be able to convince the king to help us all out. I'm sorry to hear that you're in trouble, but I have no idea why you think that I would be interested in a battle. It's not like you're doing anything else. Actually, I'm monitoring my animals. I don't see any animals around here. Is that why you've been looking outside? Yes, I have many animals in my backyard. Phoba and I are happy here with our animals. We have no interest in fighting you, or anything like that. Could we see your animals up close? Sure, if you want. Usually I lock the paths to my backyard because there are monsters around, but I'll unlock them for you. Give me a sec to open them electronically. And so now the 4 paths are opened up. All set, enjoy. Just make sure you don't touch the animals and that they stay in their pens. And we could always go back over here. I heard the electronic doors open outside. If you're going to visit our animals, watch out for monsters. Here's a bathroom. Nothing to do there. So remember, this signpost says, through the main double doors is the mastermind behind a mean menagerie, the creator of a gallery of tragedy stemming from debauchery and chicanery. The backyard hosts the zoo of beasts. All they want is to be released. Defeating the guard of each stable will free the animals if you are able. The guards are quick and stoic and persistent, not to mention magically resistant. Elemental weapons and physical hits are your best bet in this freedom blitz. There are 4 paths that exist in this realm that all lead to the backyard, so take the helm. And choose your level of treasure and vellum. 1 window to 4 window, underwhelm to overwhelm. So we can go in any of the 4 paths. It doesn't matter. You'll see here that there's 4... Oh, damn. Basically, we were talking about how we want to get through these paths and make our way to the backyard to check out the animals. You'll see that there's 4 red spirals here. If we go high enough, we'll see 4 yellow spirals, then 4 blue spirals, then 4 green spirals, talking about how we'd have to go through 4 battles 4 times. This path is 3 battles 4 times. And then there's 2 battles 4 times. And then there's 1 battle 4 times. Obviously, this is the fastest route by far. Now, the treasures along the way get progressively better the harder the path is, or the longer or more battles the path has. If we try some magic here, you'll notice that, for the most part, it's not going to be particularly helpful. So, like, this enemy here, Combustishub, this is certainly weak against fire. Each enemy, by the way, is weak against 2 things. If I try using water against this fire, it'll say super effective, but does, like, no damage. even if I'm Mero, I'll do some damage, but I could do a lot more than 1500. And the key here is to do things like exploiting the fact that they have very low physical defense. So Death by a Dozen Cuts, which we did to really cut up Angelus in the Blizzard Blooms' Igloo, this can really start to exploit more and more damage. And most physical attacks can as well. So like I might choose something like a Maxi Thwack over a typical magic attack. We'll get hit a good amount, but I'm going to continue focusing on things that do physical damage. Bullseye, for example. Let's use something like Maxi Thwack. There you go, 9,000, or almost 9,000. Because it was super effective. So if you want to exploit some weaknesses, physical attacks are definitely the way to go. Death by a Dozen Cuts, again, does a really good job of whittling down that HP. Maybe Maxi Thwack will finish this one off too. Nice. That's one battle done. We're already a fourth of the way through the path. The one red. Yellow. Another pair. Let's do Leak Beat. Let's do Maxi Thwack again. Again, each of these enemies is going to be weak to two different things. So, for example, I'm pretty sure that Alastorm here is Thunder and Light, meaning that Alastorm is weak to both Ice and Dark. Now, I could use a Dark attack, which does pretty good damage, but if I had a Dark weapon, that would be even better. I don't happen to have a Dark weapon equipped right now. Let's do Umbromancy All. Look at that. Super effective, super effective, super effective all day long. If you can get off a double recoil, a triple recoil, or a Death by a Dozen Cuts, you're going to really work your way through these battles very fast. There's always going to be a single treasure chest in each of the 4 paths. I changed up the map a little bit since the beta testers play through this. Single treasure chest with all of the items. These items are okay, and the items in the second level path are okay, but the best items that are stat boosting, very much so, I might add, those best items are in the paths 3 and 4. And I always recommend you check them all out. Let's do Meta Thwack All. Ah, that's good to know. So Marion has a light weapon, and this Mahex is both dark and fire. I tried to make both colors of the elements kind of obvious, like this is red and purple, red being fire, purple being dark. And this Wetsuna is both water and ice. So again, that kind of gives away which other 2 elements to focus on. Let's do Bullseye on this Mahex. Nice. Let's do some more damage here. Remember, Death by a Dozen Cuts does 3 hits 4 times. And if there's only one enemy, it's going to hit 12 times to the same enemy. Green Spiral. This is the 4th and final different type of battle. At least inside these paths. Again, let's do something like Technoslot. That way I can see if I can abuse any weaknesses, like this one right here. I could use Lumikota. Lumikota's it's a very strong attack. It would do a lot more if it were a physical attack. Let's see. He has a wind weapon. I'm pretty sure wind will be great against this too. I'm pretty sure that this Geoclipse is both dark and earth. Geo for earth, clips as in like eclipse. So let's see if I hit this guy at all. Nice. Let's see what else we could do. Let's use Lumimancy All. That should probably finish off this left one. You might notice that these 8 monsters we just fought against, they all have similar type attacks. If you fight in this dungeon earlier, you might find it a little bit more difficult because you want to have access to death by a dozen cuts or double or triple recoil. Now there are these poor puppies and kittens. Maybe defeating all these guards. So again, there's a comment, and this is why I usually don't keep it on instant text if I'm actually talking about the game, because sometimes I'll accidentally scroll through the dialogue. But the idea here is that our party members are worried that these dogs and cats are being held captive based on what the signpost in front was saying. Maybe defeating all these guards and releasing the animals back into the wild will also force Dama to reconsider a strength medallion battle. So we got some experience. I'm also realizing that I never actually changed my class, so I might as well do that now. Not a huge deal, thankfully. Even if you level up a couple classes higher than 5 or 6 or 7, the later dungeons with the higher and harder enemies will boost any low-level classes pretty fast. Let's save again. Now, each of these spirals represents a different battle, and completely different than the 4 battles we just faced. We won't see those enemies again until we go back through a path. I'm just going to end up going back through the extremely underwhelming realm, the single spiral path. But these give away the colors, or the elements, of each of the bosses we're about to fight. Before I do that, take a look at Ventanas again being chased by a bat, and we're not going to do anything about that, because we really don't care about Ventanas at all. Red spiral represents fire, so if I have anything to take out fire, like, say, a water weapon, that'd be pretty great. Obviously, if I was really worried about the battle, I could change my elemental necklaces to fire as well. But I'm just going to focus on the fact that I want Sprig to do as much water damage as possible. It's possible to kill these bosses in like 2 or 3 rounds. So for example, I'm going to use double recoil. Yeah, so that happened. So you don't have to exploit elemental weaknesses, but, I mean, why not, right? You're free at last, little puppies. Then we move on to the next one. So maybe here we end up equipping a Mythic Mortar, because that's a fire weapon. So now it'll be up to Marion to kick butt. So basically with this, since physical attacks is the emphasis, we're going to be going back and forth between Sprig being the one to basically KO, or Marion. Let's do triple recoil, just to do a ton of damage. Cool. Now I just leveled up, so I don't have to worry about the fact that I was losing HP. Keep in mind... Oh, 1 second. Pretty sure they say something every time. It is good to see them run free. So, we're convinced we're doing a good thing. I'm seeing Earth and Wind. So I want to use Wind and Earth. Again, we can have other anti-elements set up, but as long as Sprig and Marion can do their job, it's not a big deal. This isn't going to be anything special. It's Sprig who needs to do the special thing here. So I just want to get to Sprig as fast as possible. Let's do Death by a Dozen Cuts this time. Hey, why not? There's a bunch of different ways that you can actually kill them. Cool. Death by a Dozen Cuts doesn't even waste hit points. Look at those dogs run! I'm going to do a quick healing. And I'm ready for the win now. Triple recoil. Another quick KO. If I'm speedrunning this game, I usually prefer to do Whelmhelm Realm later on, once I have some double recoil, triple recoil, or death by a dozen cuts. It really makes a huge difference, I think. You could do something similar with Marrow and Iraq as far as using like Maxi Thwacks and Scepters, but they don't do as much physical damage, and they only hit once with a Maxi Thwack as opposed to 2 or 3 or 12 times. We are up to Ice and Thunder now, so Mythic Mace for you, and Mythic Skegox for you. We leveled up, so now we can move on to saving the cats, or at least what we're assuming is saving the cats. Marion gets Death by a Dozen Cuts later. I think it's one of her Omega level 10 skills, so it's likely that Marion won't have Death by a Dozen Cuts, in the same way that Sprig doesn't have triple recoil yet. There's a little bit of a reordering of when they get these really strong physical attacks. Be careful, young ones. You'll notice they're all going down the fourth path here. It doesn't really matter what she uses. Headshot. Headshot is a riskier attack. It does more damage if it connects, but it has a lower chance of actually connecting in terms of accuracy. Now finally, for the last pair, we have good old-fashioned light and dark. Bye-bye, kitty cats! So now let's do Mythic Masamune, which I think is how you pronounce it. I could be butchering these, I apologize. Light and dark, so this is light type, so what I really care about is Sprig getting an attack off. Those just feed over to Sprig. And next up will be Marion doing her job. Look at that Clouder go. Clouder? Yeah, it means a group of cats. Oh. Facts. Clouder is a group of cats. And let's have Marion do her thing. Triple recoil. I'm quite level 5, that's okay. Later, cool cats. Looks like we've released all of them, and we beat all the baddies who were guarding them too. Hopefully this convinces Dama to take our request more seriously. The enemies we come across are getting ludicrously large. Do some healing. Now I'm not going to go through the fourth path. I have to go through the first path. Now, I purposely have set up a sequence of events where you might have reason to come back here after you defeat the bosses, which, if you're going to come back here a second time, you really could take all 4 paths one at a time. You could take, for example, the single spiral path here, and then the double spiral path back, and then the triple spiral path up here again, and then the quadruple spiral path back. Just so you get to experience all 4 paths. Now, you don't have to. There's some little Easter egg things which I'll show you. But we're just going to move through this as fast as possible. I might play pretty greedy in terms of potentially not healing all of the time. But that's why we do the level ups. That's why I like to switch my classes. That way, if I'm leveling up all the time, I don't have to go into the pause menu and mini heal or meta heal or maxa heal from Iraq all the time. The battle animation speed on as fast as possible here, just to kind of speed through this. Also, before I forget, I want to switch back Sprig and Marion's super useful anti-boss weapons, because that'll make the boss battle go by really, really fast. So we said Mythic Glaive for the wind against the earth, and the Mythic Baldos also set up there for the light. Okay, let's keep moving. 2 more spirals here. I can't use any double or triple recoil here because I'm low on health. No, I almost died. Pretty sure I'm going to be leveling up again soon anyway, so not a huge deal for me. Let's just finish off this battle. Again, keep in mind, I'm just going to beat this battle with Marion at 0, knocked unconscious. It doesn't really matter if if anyone's knocked unconscious, unless everyone's knocked unconscious, because Marion's still going to get experience. Pops back up. Almost, don't have level up yet, so she'll be at 1 HP. So I guess we might as well heal her now. And we have one more battle to get through in this path. Let's go with triple recoil. Let's maxi thwack. I missed. I think they still have those Earth Scepters, the Geomancy Geoscepters, which is why they're doing so much damage against this enemy here that is both Wind type and Light type. Again, Marion taking a beating, just based on some RNG. Alright, level up, nice. We can exit now. We didn't have to heal, but I just always do out of habit. Again, this signpost is talking about how these two people, Dama and Phoba, are keeping these animals captive. And so we just did what we think is a good thing by releasing the dogs and cats. Now they're eating some lunch. We'll see this sequence once we start going through the paths. Once all the 8 guards are defeated and we've released all the dogs and cats, then the following sequence will occur. Hey everyone! Did you get to see the cute animals outside in the backyard? Oh yeah, we're all finished back there. You should look out the windows again. They're like, why? Okay. I'm keeping the battle animation speed on fastest. Marcirus Manor, by the way, Mars and Ares, references to also Dama and Phoba. I believe the moons are called Deimos and Phobos. These are all references to Roman and Greek mythology and planets and moons. So they're pissed at what just happened. Where are your animals? Your animals? You mean the ones you've been keeping captive? What are you talking about? You've been imprisoning them all. Yeah, imprisoning and treating them badly. You four need to mind your own business. Well, you should have listened to Sprig instead of only caring about eating lunch and having your accomplices abuse those poor animals. Accomplices? Hey Dama, what's going on? These four have ruined everything for us. What happened? They let the animals escape. They sabotaged our entire business? Yes, we did, and we want that medallion too. I will never forgive you for this. Alright, let's do some fighting. Now I've got that wind weapon, so that became really easy. Normally it takes quite a while to get through this first part. Once this enemy drops to around 3/4 health, they get some backup from their partner. I've got your back, Dama. You're the best, Phoba. You're the best, Slippy. What? Heh. I'll take you both down. Now, it is theoretically possible to finish off the first boss, as you can see here, but I just want to show you what normally happens. So let's say you didn't get super lucky with Death by a Dozen Cuts. Because what normally happens here is Caduceus plays the attack, well, the defense. Caduceus spans out, and basically, Phoba makes sure Dama will never end up dying. And so what'll happen here is I can keep trying to attack Dama. And sometimes I'm blinded, sometimes I'm not. But what you'll see is every single time, Dama's going to get re-healed up to 30,000 their full HP every time. Now Phoba, I have to actually start whittling down. So Judgment can do something. Quit hiding all the fun. Once I get the boss in the back down, maybe to like 95%, 90% of the health, then it's not just 1-on-2 anymore. It ends up being 4-on-2, because now Marion and Marrow and Iraq all come in as well. Now that's more like it. Okay, so now we've got a 4-on-2, kind of a proper battle that we're accustomed to. Keep in mind I've got those special weapons. Let's just thwack some as well. Let's use Judgment. And this battle becomes really, 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 really easy if you have the proper weapons. If you're not focusing on the elements, that's fine. I just leveled up from level 2 to 4, by the way. Sprig didn't need our help to beat Dama, but Phoba joining the battle wasn't fair. Fair? What's fair about any of this? I appreciate the assistance. Has anything actually been preventing us from just working together to attack whoever has the medallion halves? Now that you mention it, that rule really does seem pretty arbitrary. Fourth wall break. It is the honorable thing to do. Again, the honorable one-on-one situation. Honorable? Your sense of honor is seriously perverted. You wouldn't understand caring for others, or being left behind by those who are supposed to care about you. We really should be going. We still gotta find the king. Indeed, Marrow. Take my medallion piece and get out. You obtained one of the 2 strength medallion halves. So now we're going to go through the cutscene as always. And then there's a couple other things I just want to tidy up here as well. Where do the animals actually run off to? The backyard path furthest to the right, as in the one with the most monsters. ... You've tortured us enough already, not to mention our friends and animals. And you got what you came here for. Now please just have mercy and leave us. Hopefully we can find some of our staff. With each medallion piece, I keep being reminded who I'm fighting for, why I'm on this journey. Gonna hold down spacebar to make this move faster as well. I'll talk more about this over the, maybe once we get the 7th and 8th pieces. Or maybe the final time once we talk it over with the king, once we talk our medallion cutscenes over with the king. I do realize that I overlooked 2 little things in Infernal Inferno, which was a couple episodes ago. Towards the bottom left of the map, since I didn't really do anything down there where there's boulders, I did make little lava islands that are Tetris pieces. You'll find a little Easter egg where there's a few different little lava islands, which represent, I think I managed to fit in every single Tetris piece in the Sea of Lava. And other than that, one of the enemies, the Rhyolava Earth Monster, is also Fire type. And so there was at least one, if not 2 enemies there, that had 2 elemental strengths, which means it had 2 elemental weaknesses. The Rhyolava was both Earth and Fire type, which is why both Wind and Water were good against it. And then there was another monster that was both Green and Yellow, which meant it was both Wind and Thunder type, which is why both Earth and Ice would be good against that monster as well. So sometimes, if an enemy is multicolored, especially if there's 2 colors, there might be reason to think that it is represented by 2 elements, which means that you can essentially focus it down with 2 elements and kill it off that way as well. So Sprig is finishing up here, and then we're going to move on to our next battler. And we've got, again, this Marrow situation where Hartania's teaching the class, teaching some pyromancy over here. I forget which one this is. Neutromancy, maybe? I used 5 different skill animations that Marrow ends up learning anyway. That's your magic attack up buff. Either something like Concentrate. That's a mini thwack. And then finally we've got... I don't remember which one that is off the top of my head. But it's something Marrow learns. And Marrow comes, distracts everyone with some cryomancy and umbermancy and some other stuff. Hartania's ticked off that Clash just got disrupted. We're skipping an 8th. Again, these 5 students are looking around. You'll see that when the other cutscene is filled in, they're looking around for Marrow. Things are about to get crazy here in terms of animations and bright lights. Some flashing lights up ahead. One of the reasons why I ended up using the warning. We'll see the cutscene next time, or maybe the time after that, where they all kind of go crazy and flash all their animations inside that Hotfoot hut. Mero killing some baddies, getting a little bit older. The straw-colored hair now, the lighter hair. And we're moving through the different seasons. This is sprig healing. We're going to skip part of summer. Second part of summer here. Doing some dogs and cats and chickens. And some autumn here. Some autumn or fall. Moving through winter. Alright, this cutscene is the shortest, I think. Marion's isn't super long either. I think Mero's and Sprig's are the longest. Marion's sadly following her mother. Mother feels bad about leaving Marion behind the daycare. Remember, that is the thing she has to do. We saw that from the earlier cutscenes in the game before we got the ship. And here's the kind of the split scene where Mother Marion is on the left, still regretting her decision to leave her daughter alone. Now we've got this weird swapping of sprites. Now there's like an older version of our Marion on the left, and a young, bright purple-haired girl on the right, who seems to be enjoying the daycare very much. There's Lord and Lady Luke with the hearts. And we're done with this. So, you can still click on these individuals. You've ruined our vet clinic. All we wanted to do is help animals, but you forced them out into the wild where monsters lurk. I hope they made it out alive. You all need to leave, now. Vet clinic? We welcomed you, a bunch of intruders, into our home and animal hospital, and this is how we're treated? I think you may have even injured some of the other doctors and nurses who were observing and caring for the dogs and cats playing in the backyard. You should all be ashamed of yourselves. Didn't you bother to read the signpost in front of our health center? Yeah, we read it like 3 times, right? Wait, where'd this stuff come from? This looks like doctor stuff. Let's just read the signpost again. Oh, there's like health stuff here? Through the main double doors is the savior with which you should place your bet, an amazing, ingenious, and passionate vet, who comes to the rescue when one deserts their pet. They heal and they feed and they care for everyone, out in the backyard whenever there is sun, to run around and interact with others for some fun. Dama has the greatest shelter that has ever been run. The assistants are all expert volunteers. Veterinary medicine is their full-time career. They've been working with animals for years, through wonderful cheers and unfortunate tears. The 4 paths to the backyard typically stay locked so that any hungry monsters are prevented and blocked from accessing the animals, and only trusted friends of Dama can view the saved pets in their pens. So it looks like there's doctors and nurses that have been killed or knocked out. Where did all these skeletons come from? So I'm actually going to make my way back up the paths. Or just this one path here. Back up and down again. Just to show you just how much gaslighting there is in this dungeon, which is the intention. Again, to realize that there have been plenty of RPG quests in the past where you're really messing with the livelihoods of other individuals, of other NPCs, just for your own personal affairs and your own personal objectives and quests. And so we're not really considering the effects of anyone else. We're just doing what we need to do to get what we want. And in some cases, that involves either creating or just reading too hard into a narrative that simply doesn't exist, like just assuming that everyone else is bad because what you're doing is good, and they seem to be at odds with you for some reason. So we've got the red down. We'll do the yellow next. Let's just use this. And we'll show you what the back now looks like. Now, obviously, if you're speedrunning the game, you're not going to make your way all the way back here. There's nothing necessary back here in terms of items. In fact, there are no other items back here. But there's nothing else in the back besides a little bit more information, a little bit more context on what is actually going on, which is, at least at this point, your party just totally knocked out quote-unquote guards, which were just simple doctors and nurses, just simple staff, just so you could convince Dama and Phoba to fight you over half of their strength medallion. Almost done with this battle. Pew! There's the miss. One more should do it. Leveled up, nice. Level 5. We're going to switch to level 1. All level 1s. Keep moving up now. 2 more spirals. I retake those. I really should switch to something like Death by a Dozen Cuts here to do a little bit more damage. And finishing them off. One more fight here. We will have to backtrack through the 4 spirals again, but I do want to show you all the weird little Easter eggs and references and spoilers throughout this entire thing. Can't afford anything else yet. We have a light weapon. We have an earth weapon. And again, of course, their icons are still up here, by the way, also. So, if you're ever unsure what types there are, if the colors aren't obvious enough, take a look at the attacks they're using. Lots of super effective stuff there. Level 2, got the heals. So many of these individuals are knocked out. Ventanas is gone. There are 2 individuals here who are actually alive, or conscious, and yet they just ran off into the second path. If you work through the second path, you'll see their skeletons. You can't see any more skeletons down here yet, but if you travel through the 4th path, you'll see more of the dog and cat animal skeletons. And if you travel through the second path, you'll see the 2 skeletons of those 2, I guess, nurses or doctors that just ran away. So we're going to run all the way back now. And this will end up concluding our episode. We've got 2 more medallion pieces to get through. One of them is in Goo Grotto and the Cedar Slimes area, which is tons and tons of slimes, gels, flons, whatever you want to call them. The other stereotypical RPG enemies, which focus more on magic and are very physical resistant. So it's kind of like the reverse of what we have right here. We're gonna go bullseye on my head. So maybe we'll do that one next, and then maybe the last dungeon we do will be Talent's Tower, which is the tower with like 12 floors or so, where you'll have to navigate through enemies mostly moving around in specific patterns, and figuring out which of many staircase options we have to take to make it all the way to the top of the tower. And I'll leave Marion's, which is Talent Tower, I'll leave that one to last. Even though, regardless of which medallion piece I do 7th and which medallion piece I do 8th, we're going to be fighting against 4.0 level monsters. You'll see here, they're all 4.0 now, because we now have 6 out of 8 medallion pieces. When we fought them earlier, they died faster. They had, I believe, lower stats. Maybe it was less health, but it was definitely lower stats overall, because they were only 3.0 level monsters before. But now they're 4.0 level monsters, we get more experience, we level up faster, we get more gold, we get better loot overall. And so, if you like a specific set of enemies, you find them easy to kill or something, you can always go back to that dungeon and fight them when they're stronger. You know, maybe you fought in that dungeon earlier on when they were level 1.0 or 2.0. You can always go back and fight them again when they're 3.0 or 4.0 as you progress through the game. Almost done. Almost done. One more fight here. Neither will be super effective, so that's fine. This will be good. This will be good. Alright, 6 medallion halves to go. Oh, good. 6 medallion halves done. 2 more to go. We just leveled up again, just in time to switch to a new class. It does take a little bit longer to level up in Omega than it does in Alpha. Also, you might notice that since everyone participated in the boss battle, technically, everyone actually got experience, whereas the other 7 boss battles are truly solo. Another little fun fact. So next up, what we're going to do is we're going to end off this episode in Cedar Slimes, Goo Grotto right here. And it says, a maze of trees leading to a cave. We should stay close together to make sure we don't get lost. Good idea, Arak. The party is now moving together as one. And this little area here by the statue and the sign is pretty safe. You'll notice the spirals won't get any closer. I purposely have this here, that way you've got a little rest area. Get some items. There's a variety of items here. I'd recommend checking them out. And I'll leave you with this signpost. Bobulous, globulous goo and grimes make the jelly-like gels of cedar slimes. Shapeless and fluid, these colorful swarms embody the elements as magical forms. Some replicate humans with similar skills, while others lay low and avoid any thrills. Most of the slimes wish to be left in peace, though interloper intervention never seems to cease. Their home, the Goo Grotto, is found past the trees. It's a safe and dark place, where the slimes have some space, to survive and to pace and to do as they please. Inside the dim cave resides the slime leader. He fights for his tribe, from grotto to cedar. To bring pride and joy, he's brought home a trophy, a piece of medallion that heroes should go see. And this will end up being a Marrow battle, because of course, if we're going to verse some magic-heavy monsters with lots and lots of elements, that's Marrow's wheelhouse, right? So we are going to save the game here. That is the end of episode 13. I will see you next time, where we get through Cedar Slimes and Goo Grotto and end up getting the second half of the Soul Medallion. Take care. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more clips about Mango Mischief, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. The Steam link for my game, as well as all Mango Mischief social media links, are posted in this video's description. I think you'll enjoy my satirical, retro-style, turn-based JRPG, and if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments section below. Thanks!